Hello, I'm Mike Gorna. Welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Pokemon Gold and Silver for the Game Boy Color. And last time we defeated Claire for our 8th and final gym badge in Johto. And I also deposited Meganium into my PC because we're going to capture a very specific Pokemon lair today. The main feature presentation is going to be the full exploration of Mount Mortar. However, I actually do plan on doing a few more things. Now, Silver's gonna go ahead and buy a bunch of max repels and also sell some of the excess junk that I've been holding on to. Like, we don't need those super potions anymore. And let's buy 10 max repels. Gold's gonna go ahead and do all that later. Yes, we will be... Like, it's not like we're wasting a ton of time doing this. The time waste is gonna be minimalized in this episode because I need to synchronize Gold and Silver up, because today, in addition to completing Mount Mortar, we're also going to conduct our first set of trades in today. Between Gold and Silver. Yeah. Gold and Silver are and I'm also going to get Gold and Silver ready to make trades with Red and Blue version as well. So that's gonna be fun. So they're all using Surf. So this is kind of easy enough to figure out, okay, this is what Pokemon to use against which trainers. And believe it or not, I have actually routed... And the reason I've actually routed out my paths through routes 45 and 46, where we're going to take out all the trainers on these routes, and get their phone numbers, too. There's 3 phone numbers for us to pick up. What's your path strategies? Yeah, okay. So, why am I not using repels here? Well, because I never got them in Gold version. Had I been around this area, I probably would have used max repels every time I went through routes 45 and 46, so I could completely avoid those stupid random encounters. I'd also probably be routing 45 and 46 slightly differently in order to minimize step count. So this was an easy Ampharos battle. Side note, Meganium is basically going to slowly fade into the background, as I'm not going to be using him much longer after this episode. I'm also thinking of clear out some other Pokemon in my collection so I can better streamline my teams. For the Elite Four and the entire post-game. Alright, and here's our first phone number, and we're gonna have Typhlosion battle him because, well, Typhlosion doesn't have a lot of good matchups in Route 45, so I might as well just use him here. Blackbelt Kenji was defeated, and we need to get his phone number as well. So Gold has a slight lead over Silver because of Silver's did some additional shopping, and I am also going to try ahead and make sure. Okay. Jimmy gets Kenji's phone number as well. And I keep forgetting, okay, did I get Kenji's phone number? Which is why I keep talking to them afterwards. Talk about short-term memory loss. And we're using Surf on Golem. And you know what? I actually had for Alligator use Bite on Geodude. Because I figured, okay, Bite could probably one-shot Geodude just fine. I wasn't quite sure if he would one-shot Grappler or Golem with Bite, so I kept using Surf or Ice Punch to deal with them. We already caught you, Teddiursa. Go away. That's an interesting philosophy. Hiker Timothy wants to battle. Alright. And I'm literally mapping out my Route 45 specifically so I battle every trainer and nab every item. It will require 3 trips because the first 3 trainers are behind separate ledges. With no way of reaching each of them in a single descent, so there we go. And now I'm gonna go ahead and try searching for a Pokemon, for a hidden item here. This would have been the place I would have fished up Dratini had I decided to take on these routes in the previous episode. But I didn't. These are just berry trees, we don't need them. Berry trees replenish their contents every single day, so whatever. I just thought about the girl here first, because that way I don't have to swap Typhlosion up to the front of the party. And then something I probably should have done the top chair first with Typhlosion in the lead. But I was thinking ahead of one trainer that I was looking to fight, not the other. So go Surf. Picnicker Erin was defeated, and we're gonna get Picnicker Erin's phone number now. Something worth knowing is I realized I could probably one-shot every single Pokemon on Route 46 because you are intended to come here at around Ecruteak City, as in pre-Badge 4. Which is absolutely insane to think because Picnicker Erin does not upgrade her team, her second team, until you defeat the champion. Like holy crap. The game developers had no idea how to scale characters' levels in Johto. I guess it's part of the reason why future generations of Pokemon became so bloody linear. It's so they could then be able to properly scale all the wild and trainer Pokemon's teams. So it doesn't feel like you have to train like 2 or 3 Pokemon only in order to get good levels on your team. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And of course we get into a random encounter in both Gold and Silver. Typical. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I literally timed both these games so I could actually get the new custom Pokeball off Kurt's hands. And I can get the item off of Sunday of Sunday on Route 37. I need to get the Friend Ball and I need to get the Sunny of Sunday gift. Alright, Typhlosion, use Flame Wheel. Cool. And we defeat Culture Orion. And that is literally the full extent of this run through Blackthorn. Now, through Route 45. Now our third trip, we're going to take care of the remaining trainers and items. Gold version pulls ahead here because he got 0, didn't get it to a random encounter. And now we're going to get the third and final phone number from these 2 routes. From Hiker Parry. In a bit of trivia, Hiker Parry will call you about the Meryl Swarms on Mount Mortar. We don't have to worry about that in this episode because we already got all the swarm encounters. So instead, I'm just gonna go Flamethrower. The reason why I led with Typhlosion here is because I completely forgot swapping for Alligator. But after this spell, I sort of realized I could probably have for Alligator solo the last trainer as well. Sorry, Typhlosion solo the last trainer. Because I noted that the levels on Route 46 are really low, and there's one last trainer on that route for us to pick up. Anyways, our primary method here is taking care of the remaining trainers and nabbing all the remaining items, not counting the berry trees. Because berry trees always replenish their items, so no need to waste time on those. J5. And now we're going to battle this last hiker on Route 46. And this time, my use of Typhlosion against this guy is deliberate because all of his Pokemon are under level. Right, at this point I have to start thinking ahead and realizing what Pokemon I would rather have in my party. And what Pokemon would be best used in my party and be leveling up and grinding for the end game. Typhlosion, use Flame Wheel. So we're just gonna be spinning Flame Wheel until this trainer falls and Typhlosion hits level 44. And just like that, Typhlosion's level 44, same level as Feraligatr. It is clear that those two Pokemon are going to be my two aces going forward. So that is going to be lots and lots of fun there. Okay, Bailey. Last Geodude. The run. And with that, we've completed routes 45 and 46 100%. Right now, I'm gonna fly down to Ecruteak City for some reason. Oh yeah, now, I think the reason why I flew down to Ecruteak City was because I was thinking in the back of my head that the time is probably going to be around midnight right about now. So I thought this would be a good idea to go pick up the item from Sunny Sunday. The problem though is it's not midnight. Alright, so a bit of spoiler what I'm doing in Silver version is I'm actually going to be moving a ton of Pokemon around. And making room for new ones. Like Feraligatr here. Both Gyarados and Feraligatr know Surf, so I don't need both Pokemon at the same time. But what Silver's doing is getting a head start for the big grind. For getting my teams ready for trading and evolving. Well, Gold is just heading straight there. Now to get what we... So, yep, that's the time. We're still not ready for Sunny Sunday yet, so... We have to go through Mount Mortar now. We're gonna use Max Repels. And it has to be the second cave entrance. Otherwise, we will... the first and third cave entrances, we fully explored those entrances from their starting point, so there's no need to continue on any further there. So now that we have access to Waterfall, we can explore this back half of the cave. So I'm actually making a highly methodical pathway through Mount Mortar, so we can have all the treasures both hidden and both visible and invisible. There's the Max Potion. We go up here now. TM40, which is Defense Curl. Wow, that sucks. Well, there is a reason why TM40 is Defense Curl in this game. And that's because Defense Curl, in addition to powering up your defense stat one stage, it also boosts the power of Rollout. So the idea is to pair those two attacks up, Defense Curl and Rollout, and deal in order to increase Rollout's damage output. But honestly, it feels like a wasted move slot. So we need to use the max repels. So we don't get into any random encounters. The random encounters in the back half of the cave are pretty strong. But at the same time, there's nothing here that we haven't caught already. Though, if you were playing these games honestly, then this would probably be the best place to go ahead and catch Machoke. So even though Silver's noticeably a ways behind Gold, it's all going to even out just fine for us in the end. Here's a hidden max repel. We already got all the items in the lower path, so there's no reason to go off the ledge here. So what we're actually going to do is take on this guy, the Karate King, who is now so deep into Mount Mortar that he's literally the main objective to getting to this point. Go Typhlosion! Going to use Flame Wheel. And that's really all we can do, because there's really not a lot of good options for one-shotting Hitmonlee. Or Hitmonchan for that matter. So really all we can do is spam Flame Wheels and hope for the best against Blackbelt Kiyo, the Karate King himself. However, Silver gets a critical hit that allows him to pull ahead of Gold. Wow. Got him beaten. And as a reward, we are given a new Pokemon called Tyrogue, which is the reason why I emptied out my party slot early on in the first place. It was to make room for this Pokemon and this Pokemon specifically. And this thing is, Tyrogue is a pre-evolution of Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, who will evolve into one of 3 Pokemon, depending on his attack and defense values, relative to one another anyways. If the attack stat is higher, he evolves into Hitmonlee. If his defense stat is higher, then he'll evolve into Hitmonchan. And if they're but what would happen if his attack and defense stats are the same values as one another? Well, you're about to find that out. Because that's the 3rd Pokemon, which is brand new to Johto. Yeah, the Hitmon line is probably the only evolution line that works like this in all of Pokemon. Level 20 and then measuring those attack and defense stats relative to one another. So thanks to that critical hit on Hitmonchan, which was not planned at all, Silver has a noticeably sizable lead over Gold. Obtain the Hyper Potion, and we're going to head straight for the exit. With no more items to pick up in Mount Mortar, no more Pokemon to catch, we are effectively done. So let's read the Tyrogue's Pokedex entry right now. It is always bursting with energy. To make itself stronger, it keeps on fighting even if it loses. Silver will read all of the Tyrogue line's Pokedex entries later on. So Silver withdraws a Black Apricorn because at this point I know that Kurt's Pokeball is ready. Or at least it's close to being really close to being ready, I should say. And what I'm going to do is rearrange my parties in Silver version while Gold does the same things. Clearing out their inventory and withdrawing a Black Apricorn. And I need to save my game right here before I go any further. Because I still have one more Pokemon that I need to deposit into my PC. Feed him, I give him a rare candy to hold, and I'm going to feed him 9 rare candies to get him to level 19. Meanwhile, Silver's going to be moving a ton of pieces around, getting itself ready for the first set of trades by moving all the Pokemon I plan on trading. Which will be, let's see, in Silver's case, it will be Vulpix, Meowth, Kadabra, Machoke, Graveler, Haunter, Ledyba, Ledian, let's see, Delibird, Skarmory, Phanpy, and Donphan. Now, with Gold, I decided to just skip ahead to when I was ready to evolve to when I've duplicated a bunch of shit in my inventory, including proteins and irons. Because I need to get their stats right. Gold's Tyrogue is actually has higher strength stat than a naturally higher strength stat than defense, which is ideal. You want Tyrogue to have slightly better strength stat because it makes it a little easier to grind up the defense. So I think I made a mistake in Gold version while trying to optimize and max out everything here. Which is why I changed PC boxes. So Silver is just going, Silver's gonna wrap up its level ups. Gold's traded Pokemon are just a heads up are going to be it'll be the usual Kadabra, Machoke, Graveler, and Haunter, of course, but his version exclusives will be that he'll be trained over will be Mankey, Growlithe, Spinarak, Ariados, Gligar, Teddiursa, Ursaring, and Mantine. So with even strength, with even attack and defense, Tyrogue evolves into Hitmontop. With higher strength stat, evolves into Hitmonchan, and with higher defense, evolves into Higher defense evolves into Hitmonchan. Higher strength evolves into Hitmonlee. Even Steven evolves into Hitmontop. Gold's Tyrogue has naturally higher strength than Silver's Tyrogue, whose defense is actually the dominant stat. Which is why Silver was shown with proteins in his inventory, whereas Gold had irons. So now that I've gotten through all the evolutions, let's check out their Pokédex entries. This amazing Pokemon has an awesome sense of balance. It can kick in succession from any position. Its punches slice the air. However, it seems to need a short break after fighting for 3 minutes. And now we've got Hitmontop. If you become enchanted by its smooth, elegant, dance-like kicks, you may get drilled hard. Or I guess you could say you could get yourself served. So I'm speaking to Kurt right now to grab the friend ball while Silver's going to make some party adjustments. So I got the second friend ball and I'm going to give him the black apricorn. When I am bit of a spoiler, this will be the last episode of Gold and Silver for quite a while. So now it's Sunday. I'm going to talk to Sunny Sunday and he'll give us a magnet, which will power up our electric type moves. This will be great for Typhlosion and Ampharos. And I'm going to fly back down to Azalea Town so that when I'm ready to return and resume my adventure, I will be able to get the Black Apricorn Pokeball off of Kurt's hands. The repels in both games had completely worn off too. So now Silver's gonna be the one that's gonna make all the party adjustments. While we wait on Silver to catch up. So yeah, Kadabra here, Machoke, Graveler, Haunter. That's gonna be the first part that we'll be using. And now that we have them on our party, we're going to start duping them and getting them ready to be traded. Again, Silver version already got all of its pieces ready for. All Silver has to do is dupe them. So that while Silver appeared to be well ahead of Gold in this regard, it's gonna balance out having it so both games are about even Steven when we're done duping. So I'm returning our party Kadabras, Machokes, Gravelers, and Haunters back to their original spots in the Pokédex. Now we're moving Geodude, Graveler here. Ledyba here. So we're going to be duplicating Vulpix, Meowth, Ledyba, and Ledian in Silver version. And for Gold, he's going to be duping Mankey, Growlithe, Spinarak, and Ariados next. Okay, it's gonna eventually balance out to both games essentially finishing at roughly the same time. Especially since Silver still needs to read their Pokédex entries. So now that this set of dupes are done, Silver's going to move on to the final set of Pokemon to duplicate, which will be Delibird, Skarmory, Phanpy, and Donphan, who all happen to share the same box. PC box as one another. Gold, meanwhile, is going to move on to Gligar, Teddiursa, Ursaring, and Mantine. So, why am I not trading Persian and Primeape together? It's literally so I can make 2 evolutions in both games. Plus, Meowth and Mankey are still holding on to a rare candy, and they're level 27. So, evolving both those Pokemon isn't going to waste a ton of time. Alright, Teddiursa. Alright, and now Gold is completing his duplications. While Silver is getting his team ready for the first set of trades, Togetic goes into his PC box 161 and 196. Sandwich between Togepi and Natu because that's Living Dex order. And now we're gonna move Gligar. So we're getting our first sets of Pokemon, which are of trades settled with, which will be the Cantonian Pokemon. Vulpix, Meowth, and the 4 trade evolutions, as well as in Gold's case, Mankey and Growlithe. Now that we're all cut, if it starts kicking repeatedly, both legs will stretch even longer to strike a fleeing foe. Sponges slice the air. They are launched at such high speeds, even a slight graze could cause a burn. And now for the next. Even though it is small, it can't be ignored because it will slug any handy target without warning. It launches kicks while spinning. If it spins at high speed, it may bore its way into the ground. Alright, we're both done. And now it is finally time to begin our first sets of trades. Now, the reason why I powered off is literally so I could use dual Game Boy. Port the saves and use dual Game Boy so I can make these trades possible. After that, I will have to use PK Hex and some other programs in order to carry over the trades from one game to the other. Spoiler alert, if you use PK Hex and Gold, Silver, Crystal, you absolutely, positively have to reset the in-game timer. You just have to. If you don't, it's gonna reset to the previous time. To whatever time was set when you first saved your game. So if you first start up a new save file on Tuesday at 4 PM, that will reset the in-game clock all the way to Tuesday 4 PM. Since I need a farm for Pokeballs, I will inevitably have to reset the in-game times to Sunday at 11:59 so I can pick up the newest Pokeball, as well as speak with Monica Mondays. Anyways, my first sets of trades are going to be the trade evolutions because I intend to trade back for them. But that Kadabra's evolved into Alakazam. And let's take a look here at Gold. Trade Machoke for Machoke? Yes. And I'm returning all the trade evolutions back to their original owners because ideally with Living Dex Pokemon, you want Pokemon that you've caught in-game. And there we go, Machokes. Take good care of Machoke. Alright, and we are going to Machoke, take good care of Machoke. Muscles is evolving. And it looks like Muscles is evolving into Machamp. So now we have a Machoke, and now we've got 2 fully evolved trait evolutions. 6 more to go! Well, 8 more to go, but 6 more to go after this. And we are now going to trade Gravelers in both games. Yeah, for the rest of this episode, it's just gonna be trades, duplications, and Pokedex entries. Which is kind of the reason why I chose not to make this its own separate episode. And you might also catch too that the music sounds a little different for some reason. I have no idea what's wrong. Why the music on dual Game Boy sounds different from the solo Game Boys. But it's kind of amazing how there's basically no problems trading between Gold and Silver. Which is a first in my perfect playthrough. To have perfect trade connections between the 2 games, just because I'm playing off dual Game Boy. Now there is a downside to this, and that's that every action I take is basically synchronized to one another. However, there is some occasional frame lag in one game or the other, and it's a little difficult to read when the frame lags occur. It just sorta happens. I think it's based on the program that is dual Game Boy rather than anything to do with Gold and Silver specifically. So with that, we've got all the in-game trade evolutions. I'm not going to do the item-related trade evolutions yet, because I don't have all the necessary pieces for those trades to make them possible. I'm still missing a metal coat and an upgrade. And I also need 2 metal coats. Just like that, we traded Vulpix and Growlithe. I can't evolve Vulpix or Growlithe yet, so I'm gonna hold on to. So I have to wait until I obtain all the necessary evolution stones before I invest my time in either of them. Now, honestly, I could probably evolve both Jigglypuffs if I wanted to. A Jigglypuff in both games, because I already duped them. So it's kind of pointless to just have two of them sitting around my PC when I still have a Moonstone in the box. You know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. When I come back to doing Jigglypuff. Alright, Meowth is now in Pokemon Gold, and Growlithe is heading to Pokemon Silver. And previously I traded Vulpix for Mankey. And I'm doing it based off of Pokedex order, by the way. I'm gonna have a hard time making adjustments to the placement in the PC boxes anyway, so whatever. Alakazam, take good care of Alakazam. So I'm trained back so that all the Pokemon have their original trainer IDs. And there's Alakazam in the flesh. Trade completed. Alright. Machamp for Machamp. Good. And now with that out of the way, and technically I didn't have to do the Machamp for Machamp because they both have the same trainer ID, because these were from in-game trades. Remember, their nicknames are Muscles. Take good care of Machamp. But however, he's kind of part of the package, so I'm just trading both Machamps anyways. So once I trade back Golem and Gengar to their original trainers, I will start reading Pokedex entries systematically, and then I'm going to head back and perform my next batch of trades. Take good care of Golem. Alright. This is definitely the most boring part of any run, is doing all the in-game doing all the trades between the two games. It is beyond boring to do, but I have to show it off in order to sell to you guys that yeah, I am going to complete the Pokedex the honest way. Or at least as honest a way as I'm willing to do, given the fact that I have access to save mergers in red, blue, and yellow, and the PC duplication glitch in all 6 games. And I'm playing on emulator too. Anyhow, we are now done with the first set of trades, and we will begin the second set of trades relatively soon after reading some Pokédex entries. So I'm taking advantage of this lag so I could read the entries in silver versions. It's unsafe to approach if it gets violently enraged for no reason and can't distinguish friends from foes. Alright. Extremely loyal, it will fearlessly bark at any opponent to protect its own trainer from harm. Alright. Its brain cells multiply continually until it dies. As a result, it remembers everything. It uses its 4 powerful arms to pin the limbs of its foes, then throws the victim over the horizon. It is capable of blowing itself up. It uses this explosive force to jump from mountain to mountain. And here we are. To steal the life of its target, it slips into the prey's shadow and silently waits for an opportunity. So I literally tried my best to synchronize the movements so both games reach the PC. Right now, all I can do is duplicate Meowth, Vulpix, Growlithe, and Mankey. And now that I've done that, and I'm going to make use of the duplicate Growlithe and Vulpix later on, but I need to duplicate Meowth and Mankey for a later date. And something else I forgot to do was read Gold's Pokédex entries. So I gotta find a time to do that at a later date. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to evolve Mankey into Primeape. And I'm holding on to item here because I don't want to stop Mankey's evolution. These are all duplicate Pokemon, by the way. So yeah, I literally have to play around their evolutions and them learning new attacks while evolving them. So I literally took advantage of these in-game trades. It becomes wildly furious if it even senses someone looking at it. It chases anyone that meets its glare. So yeah, I am literally just trying my best Many adore it for its sophisticated air. However, it will lash out and scratch for little reason. And as I said before, when recording this, I actually forgot to read Gold's Pokédex entry, so I only read Persians there. But I'll fix it later on. So what am I gonna do? How am I going to... Ultimately, I decide to just deposit the Pokemon I already have. And I'll worry about moving the Pokemon around later. I sort of realized at that point that because the inputs are completely synchronized, except when it comes to withdrawing Pokemon, but at this point I was just powering through. But I need to find some way to move the Pokemon on the PC around, given the synchronization issues. And this was me just trying to figure that shit out. So this is literally how I figure out how I can move my Pokemon around, and that was taking advantage of the shortened battle cries of my Pokemon. So I'm moving the newly caught Vulpix to box 21 through 40. And right now I'm just withdrawing, in Silver version's just withdrawing Pokemon with a full box. And I'm hoping and pray I don't land on release and release one of my newly traded Pokemon. Luckily that never happened. I was never in, none of my Pokemon were ever in any danger of being released because I was just scrolling down a ton of spots, either a very few number of spots or a ton of spots altogether. Here I get stuck in the status screen in Silver version while I'm adjusting. So that second Vulpix in the reserve box, I decided to make use of later on. So now it's Silver's turn to move to rearrange the Pokemon. Thanks Ledyba and Ledian for the greatly shortened battle cries compared to Spinarak and Ariados. So now I get to move Mankey and Growlithe to their proper places in the PC box 41 through 60. Right here. And of course Primeape goes into 41 to 60 as well. And we're just about done. And there's Golem here. And I need to start moving Pokemon into my PC box. So I've completed my next set of parties for my second set of trades. So now it's Gold's turn to be player 1 and Silver's turn to be player 2. So luckily there's no more trade evolutions, at least for now. I will be conducting one last set of trades between Gold and Silver, and that will be so that I can obtain. And the purposes of this last trade is literally to pick up the remaining trade evolutions. which all require specific held items. 2 King's Rocks, 2 Metal Codes, the Dragon Scales, and an upgrade. I don't have an upgrade or a Metal Code. But I do have... Nor do I... And I don't even have the Pokemon that needs to evolve with Dragon Scales or upgrade either. Which would be Seadra and Porygon. Spoiler alert. I do have Poliwhirl, Slowking, Onix, and Scyther. But that's it. Take good care of Ariados. Jay sends Ledian. Jimmy bids farewell to the Ledian. Jimmy is very, very angry. So now, Ledyba and Ledian are in Pokemon Gold, and Spinarak and Ariados are in Pokemon Silver. That's very straightforward. That is about as straightforward as they get. Fixing up Gligar. And how am I going to resume playing through Gold and Silver version on solo emulators when the traits will not carry over? Well, it's simple. I'm going to use PK Hex to make the traits carry over. This is just a visual representation of me making the trade so I could prove, see, I got these Pokemon, I didn't have to cheat. So Ethan is now... Teddiursa for Ethan. Jimmy sends Skarmory, bids farewell to Skarmory. And now Silver has Skarmory and Gold has Skarmory and Silver has Teddiursa. Gold has Gligar, Silver has Delibird. Those were Gligar and Delibird are counterparts to one another. Teddiursa and Ursaring and Phanpy and Donphan are also counterparts to one another, and Mantine and Skarmory are counterparts to one another. So yep, today we are taking care of all the version exclusives. We're already ready to trade them all over. We just have the 6 held item trade evolution, the 6 new trade evolutions to take care of now. Take good care of Phanpy. And at least when I next conduct the trades, making the trades are going to be very, very... The 2 trade games are going to be piss easy to make. And I mean piss easy. So the last trades are being conducted. Mantine to silver and Donphan to gold. Alright, and that is it for all the in-game trades. At least for now. We will make one more set of trades later between gold and silver at the end. Probably at the very end of the playthrough of these two games, honestly. I'm gonna use this opportunity to read the new Pokédex entries. It spins the web using fine but durable thread. It then waits patiently for prey to be trapped. A single strand of a special string is endlessly spun out of its rear end. The string leads back to its nest. See, there we are. It usually clings to cliffs. When it spots its prey, it spreads its wings and glides down to attack. Before food becomes scarce in wintertime, its habit is to hoard food in many hidden locations. With its ability to distinguish any aroma, it unfailingly finds all food buried deep underground. Swimming freely in open seas, it may fly out of the water and over the waves if it builds up enough speed. And now for Silver's turn. And, it is very timid. It will be afraid to move if it is alone, but it will be active if it is in a group. When the stars flicker in the night sky, it flares about, scouring the glowing powder. It carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who were saved by the food it had. Its sturdy wings look heavy, but they are actually hollow and light, allowing it to fly freely in the sky. It swings its long snout around playfully, but because it is so strong, that can be dangerous. It has sharp, hard tusks and a rugged hide. Its tackle is strong enough to knock down a house. And once again, Gold completely forgets to read its Cantonian Pokédex entries, but I'll remember to do that at a later date. So for now, I'm actually going to try moving my Pokemon around a bit. Which is a lot easier said than done, but I have to do this so I can re-add Vulpix into my team. So as you can see, there is already a discrepancy between Gold and Silver because in Silver version, Spinarak and Ariados are not in their proper Pokédex orders. In fact, none of these Pokemon are. Except for maybe Mantine and Gold. But at that point, I basically came to the realization that this isn't gonna work. Gold and Silver are too synchronized with one another, so I have to figure something else out if I want to actually put all the new Pokemon in their proper order. So ultimately, I made the decision to bring all the Pokemon from that I put in box 221 through 240 back into my party, and I'm actually going to off-screen some of the some of my efforts to duplicate these Pokemon because this will take quite a long time. So right now I'm duplicating Vulpix and Growlithe and putting my plan into action. I'm actually going to use the duplicate Vulpix and Growlithes, not the one I put in box 21 and 40 and 41 and 60 respectively. And this is when I realized, as it develops its single white tail, gains color and splits into 6, it is quite warm and cuddly. I forgot to read the gold Kanto Pokedex entry, so I'm making adjustments here and now. Let's see. It is fascinated by round objects. It can't stop playing with them until it tires and falls asleep. May adore it for its sophisticated air. However, it will lash out and scratch for little reason. Closing both its eyes heightens all its other senses. This enables it to use its abilities to their extremes. Oops. Let's do Machamp. It quickly swings its forearms to rock its opponents, with ceaseless punches and chops from all angles. It sheds its skin once a year. The discard shell immediately hardens and crumbles away. And finally, we've got Gengar. Steals heat from its surroundings. If you feel a sudden chill, it is certain that a Gengar appeared. And I need to be careful here because... well, actually, no, I don't, because I took care of the hard part. Somewhat. For now, I'm just going to deposit Vulpix and Growlithe again. And now I'm actually going to skip ahead. And let's check out the results. So I have 6 Vulpix and 6 Growlithes in my party. And if we check our PC box under reserve, there are 12 Pokemon under reserve. So if we go select move Pokemon without mail, we can check that the box is full of Vulpix and Growlithes. Both boxes. These are duplicate Pokemon I intend to trade on over to Red and Blue in order to help complete Gold and Silver's Pokedexes. And there's Vulpix in both games. Meowth, Persian, good. Mankey, Primeape, Growlithe, good. And Alakazam, Machamp, and Golem is here, good. And lastly, for the Kanto Pokemon, we have Gengar, good. All in their rightful place. It took so many attempts to get everything right in the dual Game Boy and trying to synchronize all that. That was a nightmare. But having said all that, this will be my last episode Gold Silver for a while. I will be moving on to Crystal in the next episode. And there's Ledyba, Ledian, Spinarak, and Ariados. All in their proper spots. So, I do plan on trading the duplicate Vulpix and Growlithe all into Red and Blue versions for their exclusives. There's nothing Gold Silver has that Red and Blue needs. They already completed their Pokedexes. Gligar's there, good. Teddiursa and Ursaring, good. And looks like we have Delibird, Mantine, good. Skarmory, Phanpy, and Donphan. All the Pokemon are in their rightful place, are in their rightful spots in the Pokedex. So that will be it for a long while for Pokemon Gold and Silver. I will be moving on to Pokemon Crystal. But next time I come back here, I will be ready to trade with Pokemon Red and Blue and complete those games as well. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon signing out.